The episode kicks off with the Griffin family gathered around the TV, when breaking news interrupts their evening. Tom Tucker announces a devastating tragedy in Haiti. A powerful earthquake has struck, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Lois expresses her concern for Haiti and feels compelled to take action. Peter, on the other hand, dismisses the idea, suggesting they shouldn't get involved. Determined, Lois asserts that this time she will follow through with her desire to help and announces her plan to organize a blood drive. Lois takes charge and begins the blood drive at the Quahog Medical Center, rallying the community to support the cause. People turn out in droves to donate. But Lois notices that Peter is conspicuously absent. Meanwhile, at night, Stewie finds it difficult to fall asleep and calls out for Lois. To his surprise, Brian enters the room instead. Stewie shares his desire for his mother to read him a bedtime story. Brian explains that Lois is still preoccupied with the blood drive but offers to help Stewie fall asleep himself. He attempts to read Stewie a book, but it doesn't have the desired effect. Determined to assist his young friend, Brian suggests another solution. Stewie insists that he needs to hurry because he has exhausted all his efforts to fall asleep, even resorting to hiring a sandman. Brian quickly leaves the room and returns with cough syrup, cautioning that it's not intended for children. However, he assures Stewie that a small dose won't cause harm. Stewie, intrigued by the idea, takes a sip and begins to relax, remarking that he could get used to it, much like his experience with European diapers. Meanwhile, back at the Quahog Medical Center, Lois diligently takes notes on the blood donors while Peter approaches her, claiming he has already donated his blood. Lois responds sternly, urging Peter to stop fooling around and actually go donate, reminding him that there are cookies available as a reward. Peter, enticed by the idea of cookies, agrees to donate his blood in exchange for a sweet treat. He eagerly takes a cookie, declaring it to be delicious and even more delightful than Connie Britton's luscious hair. Back at home, indulging in their cookies, Peter suggests the brilliant idea of selling them, realizing they could make a fortune. He proposes opening their own cookie store, a venture that excites Lois since she has always wanted to work on a project together with Peter. The following day, Lois and Peter prepare to meet with a bank to discuss their business plans. Meanwhile, Brian calls out to Stewie, curious about what he's been up to. Stewie reveals that he has been searching for Brian all over the table, and thanks him for the cough syrup, which was a lifesaver as he slept peacefully throughout the day. Brian, concerned, informs Stewie that the syrup contains alcohol and is not meant for children, but Stewie, already in a tipsy state, insists on being taken to daycare. In the next scene, Peter and Lois find themselves at the Quahog National Bank. Lois expresses her nervousness, but Peter reassures her, confident that they will secure the loan they need. The loan officer approaches them, introducing himself and inviting them to take a seat. He inquires about their business idea, to which Peter enthusiastically responds that they plan to open a cookie store. Lois quickly steps in to take charge, realizing Peter's potential to mess things up. She impresses the loan officer by explaining that they have conducted thorough research and are confident in their ability to generate profits. To demonstrate their cookies' quality, Lois offers a sample to the loan officer, who initially takes 2 cookies, but Peter intervenes, playfully insisting he only takes 1. As expected, the loan officer is impressed by the delectable treat. The loan officer expresses his willingness to help Peter and Lois start their business, assuring them that they can contact him anytime if they have further questions. True to his word, Peter reaches out to the officer for assistance. Meanwhile, in the bathtub, Stewie calls out to Brian, who enters to find Stewie in a drunken state. Stewie suggests they order a kebab, and when Brian tries to leave, Stewie insists on his help, expressing his desire for the tub to be filled with yogurt. Brian reluctantly agrees. Lois and Peter finally open their new cookie shop, deciding to name it Peter's Wife's Cookies, a choice that pleases Lois. The store is filled with an array of delicious cookies, and Lois expresses her excitement, unable to believe it's their first day of work. As they settle in, Peter spots a familiar lady approaching and asks Lois to lock the door. Confused, Lois questions his request, to which Peter explains that the lady always comes in, samples the cookies, but never makes a purchase. The lady enters and requests a sample, leading Peter to confront her, asking if she plans to buy a cookie this time. However, she simply insists on sticking to the samples. Frustrated, Peter loses his temper and knocks her out with a tray. Lois voices her concerns about the slow market, fearing that if sales don't pick up soon, they won't be able to sustain their business. Peter reassures her, suggesting that she continue baking while he comes up with a plan to boost sales by thinking outside the box. At the clam, Peter confides in his friends, expressing his uncertainty about the failing cookie shop and the potential consequences for their future. Quagmire proposes an unconventional idea, sharing that he spends a significant amount on scented candles at the farmer's market just because a hot chick sells them. He encourages Peter to trust him and suggests that they bring in some attractive women to work at the cookie shop, believing it will attract more customers. Peter, willing to try anything, expresses his fondness for running the cookie shop compared to his previous job in telemarketing to buttholes. The next day, Lois arrives to find a crowd of customers outside the shop. She rushes inside and is surprised to see that the store now resembles a strip club. She confronts Peter, asking him what he has done. Peter proudly replies that he saved the business by hiring girls with cookie-related names. Lois, still hesitant, expresses her dislike for what the place has become. Peter reveals the money he made that day, leaving Lois amazed at the amount. Seeing the success they've achieved, Lois reluctantly accepts the idea, realizing that it's driving more customers to the store. Peter assures her that they will become an even bigger success. The next scene shows Stewie dragging his tricycle down the stairs to get outside. Brian tries to stop Stewie, telling him he's not in a condition to drive. Stewie replies, saying he's fine and that he's so fine he could handle all the steps. Stewie tells Brian to stop interfering with his business. Back at the store, Lois tries to introduce their new white chocolate, but nobody is paying attention as they are too busy watching the girls dance. Lois tells Peter that what he is doing is disgusting. She acknowledges that they made some changes, but the store should be about selling cookies. Peter tells her that she's never going to sell cookies looking like that. Brian finally gets Stewie to let go of his addiction to the syrup. Peter finally comes home and apologizes to Lois, saying he was wrong for choosing sexiness over her. Peter shows Lois a love cookie, which makes her happy, and she asks if Peter baked it. Peter says yes and expresses that he really enjoyed having a store with Lois and that he's sorry he messed things up. Lois tells Peter that they should split the cookie. Peter declines, saying that butter helped him bake it and that she has chlamydia fingers. The family sits together as Lois says it was fun having a store. Meg then asks what they are going to do with the shop now. Lois reveals that she talked to the bank, and they agreed to take it back. The episode comes to an end. Thanks for watching and kindly subscribe if you liked the video.